Hello everyone, welcome back to another session with me. This is Sanyukta Saxena. Today's session we'll be taking our journey a little further, and this is the tile that we are going to work on today. And this tile we created in the introductory session by pouring some ink and just moving our tile like this, and we created some random sections on our tile. Yeah. So this will be a little challenging, although it is very simple. If you want to consider this black portion as a string and just add some different angles in each of the sections, you can do that. We will do something like that only, but let's explore a little more. So what I'm going to do is probably leave one section empty. Yeah, so let's leave this section empty and tangle all around. So I'm now going to start with the biggest section here and then create a wells kind of a grid and then create further wells inside it. Yeah, so this is also a tangle called well. So I'm starting with an orb here somewhere in the center, not really. It can be anywhere. And then I'm going to draw some lines emanating from this orb, something like this. Right? And then I'm going to add another orb inside and then add further lines emanating from the orb inside there. Like this, and you can add further orbs inside, but I'm going to stop here. I'll see if I need to, I will do that. And then again I'm going to do the same exercise inside each of these sections that we created, drawing the wells grid whichever way you want to. Yeah, and then again I'm going to add an orb here. Take your time. And the last one here. Like this. Now one option is to add that fragment, so you can either just add further auras and add fragment, right? Just the way we did in the previous session. So probably we will do a mix of both. Yeah, so let's first just do a simple aura, something like this. Add 2 layers probably, and then an orb inside, right? Again I'm going to do the same aura each of the sides. Like this. Again pick the next section. So as I mentioned, if you think that the spaces are big, you can add further orb inside and divide it into further 3 sections. That's entirely up to you. How do you want to go about it? So again, doing the third one. Add auras, go with the flow. An orb inside, squeeze in a big orb. Like this. Yeah, and I'm going to do the same for all of the sections here. Which means this part I'm going to do the same exercise. Yeah, so again rotate your tile, place one hand under the tile. It's easier to rotate the tile that way. Again adding auras, as many as you wish to, depending on what kind of a space is there, whether you want more space inside, you want lesser space inside. You can add additional auras like this. Wherever you think the spaces are more, add an additional aura. Yeah, and then again going to do the same exercise. Take your time. Slowly go to each of the sections. You can add finer auras in between. If you wish to. Yeah. So we have filled up one of the section in the same way. Now I'm going to do the same exercise here also. Yeah. So again start with an orb in the center. Draw the Wells grid. You can draw as many of these curved lines emanating from the center as you want. Yeah. And then the bigger sections you can add another orb and then add further lines. It would be nice if you trace a part of the orb to get that flowy curved line. This appears to be a small section. We can add one orb here. Like this. Yeah. And then again do the same exercise to whatever spaces we have. Like this. Yes. So 2 set of auras inside. Take your time. Slowly do the exercise for all. Yeah. Don't really have to think much how, what. I'm just auraing the 3 sides of the triangle, the triangular shape that we have. Some bit of extra ink here and there always looks nice. Take your time. And the last one here. Right, so we are done with 2 sections. Now other section also I will do the same exercise, but I will give it a striped kind of a look like we do for the tangle striping. Yes, so let's add 2 orbs here, and then I'm going to do the same exercise. And then you can join it here if you want. Something like this. Yes, and now I'm just going to add simple auras like we did in the previous session. A slight variation would be I'm going to ink it with a highlight. You can also ink it completely and just highlight with your chalk. Even that is possible. Then comes the second one. So again add auras. Yeah, and then again ink. The Wells grid is a very versatile grid. There are a lot of tangles, fragments that you can derive from the grid by starting in the same fashion as we draw the tangle wells. Yeah, going to the third side, again added some auras, again going to add a slight highlight and ink the rest. Like this. Yeah, and then we have this section. So here the lines will come like this. So although we started with the Wells grid, but it will look somewhat like striping. Yes, just make sure you keep changing the direction of the lines. Yes, although we could have drawn the lines like this also, or we are following this or that, that's fine. Both ways it's okay. So slowly ink. So this will add a little bit of drama, a slight variation of what we did in the other two sections. Yes, and then the final. So I'm going to again leave a slight highlight. So this is a lot of inking, lot of drama. So enjoy the process, take your time and do that exercise throughout. So moving on to the next section here, I am again going to do the same exercise of striping. Again drawing the same grid. You can draw as many curved lines, as many sections that you want, you can create it. Yes, and then I'm going to add lines, curved lines, and just make sure that I keep changing their direction so that when I ink them they look something like striping. Yeah, and then again change the direction. Striping is a very simple tangle to draw and it provides excellent opportunities to shade. And I would also say it's highly underrated. I don't see striping being used much. Yeah, done with that. Now again, let's go ahead and ink. Ink it at your own pace, no hurry. But make sure you ink it nicely. Yeah, just take your time, go to each sections and ink them. So I am done with that exercise and this is how the fragment or the Wells grid looks like. Yes, so we have two more sections left. Either you can do the same exercise or if you want you can add some tipples there. Let's add some tipples. So I'm starting with some big orbs and then I will gradually reduce the size. You can draw a tipple of any size or shape. They are just orbs and you don't have to you don't have to really care about their shape much, that they should be circles. No, they can be any shape. So I'm drawing all kind of tipples here, going with the spaces I have. Try leaving no space in between. If there are, then just add some extra ink there. Adding some tiny ones. Yeah, and I will leave some of the space empty. Yeah, let's do the same exercise here also. So I'm going to add some nice tipples, any shape I wish to, just going with how this black portion is taking me. I'm sorry. Yeah, so just take your time, draw orbs. Need not be perfect circles. In fact, shape them the way the spaces are. Yeah. So as you can see here, I am gradually reducing the size. Take your time. Do that exercise. If you want, you can add one more layer of smaller orbs. Something like this. Reducing the size. Few bigger ones there, but more or less smaller ones. Like this. Yeah. So let's now move on to shading. So we are done with tangling. This part I'm going to leave empty. We shall see if we want to do something more there. I'm going to add some more. Reduce the space here in between. Yeah, I think that's fine. So as far as shading is concerned, a good idea to shade around the orbs. That's generally the way you shade. And then I'm also going to shade here. So when I'm shading here, I'm adding really thick graphite there. Like this. Yes. So let us first blend. So when you shade around the orb, you automatically carry the graphite to all the petal shapes. Yes, and then blend the edges. Something like this. Yes, I think we can add here also. Moving on to our tipple. So tipple, I'm just going to add some graphite here. I'm going to add graphite here. You can, if you want, add graphite here also. So shading depends on what you feel like at that point of time. How do you want to shade your tangle? It can be different for different people. So some may wish to go into, shading the bigger orbs there, highlight them. So that's also possible. Again, adding some graphite around the orb, and then the section that is created with the black ink. Take your time. Yes. Then we come to the striping. So try striping again, although you need not add on the blacks, but I'm just highlighting wherever there are lines going under or over. You just have to add that graphite. That's why it's important that you change the direction of the lines. I'm sorry. And then moving on to the second one, again the spaces are small here, so just add little bit of graphite, not much. Wherever the lines are changing directions, just highlight. Take your time. Make sure you don't make the entire thing gray. Blend as much as is required. And that's it. So we are done with shading our striping also. The inside space, I will just add some thick graphite. Blend it And you can add some dots if you wish to. Yeah. Some mysterious kind of a thing there. If you want, you can convert some of these orbs into black pearls. They will add to the look. Not all, but yes, some bigger ones can be converted into black pearls. Yeah. And I think we are done. That's about it. We don't need to do anything else. If you want, you can add some highlights here and there, but since we have already given highlights with our while we were drawing our striping, so I don't think we need to add more. Let's close our tile here. My chop sitting there. Must sign and date your tile. Right? So I shall see you again with one more session on this series of Zentangle Black and Whites. Till then, have a good time. Bye bye.